Today on the Sunday School Minute, we're going to do things just a little bit different. You see, this weekend, my wife and I were asked to speak at our church's Develop Conference. It's a leadership conference, and a small section of that has to do with Sunday school. So we were asked to speak, and I did my best to record that training session that we did, and unfortunately, my audio is not so good. But my wife's audio is fantastic. Also, her teaching, way better than mine. And good news is, she's at the front. So without further ado, this is our Sunday school session entitled Do It Scared from Develop Conference. Well, my name is Eric Stender. This is my wonderful wife, her sister Renee Stender. I don't have a place to put my tablet, so we'll do that. I am the peanut butter. She is the jelly. She is nice and sweet, and I am a little nutty.
That's true.
That's absolutely true. We are also 100% completely and totally opposites. Our relationship doesn't make sense, and that's why it makes sense. So I like the cake and she likes the frosting.
True.
And that's legit for everything. I literally went to the store one day and I found the ugliest purse I could find in there. And I bought it. And I gave it to her. And she loved it. Why?
That's true.
It was exactly the opposite of what I would like.
Ridiculously true.
100% opposite. But Sister Renee is going to talk for a second about why we're here and who we're trying to reach.
Okay, so the funny part, though, of peanut butter and jelly, it makes me laugh, is because even down to our peanut butter and jelly, we make them completely different.
Oh, yes.
He is like a mountain of peanut butter and like this much jelly. Me, I'm like, no, like this much peanut butter and this much jelly. If it's not oozing out, like that's not a true peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, it needs to ooze out. It needs to ooze out peanut butter.
So, yeah, God's awesome at taking and balancing your relationships out to make them work for the kingdom of God. And we can say that we are that perfect test to that because we are truly opposites. We're going to talk a little bit just for a moment on some of our kids here in town. It may relate to some of your kids back at home. And I want you to think about what kids you are around. We know our kids because we do the bus. We're in our Sunday school rooms. We're at their houses. We're talking to them. We're getting to know them. So our first kid that we have is a girl, and we had to rack our brain trying to figure out how in the world did we pick her up, because if you're anything like us, as you get older, your brain starts to forget things. You become forgetful. And I'm like, man, we should really probably take better record of how did we get these children? Where did we pick them up from? We picked her up from a VBS outreach. We spent probably 20 minutes figuring out, okay, did she come with so-and-so? No. It was from a trailer park we went and outreach to for a VBS we were doing. And she just kind of came along because her brothers were super excited to come to church. They just wanted to come. They were getting popsicles. They were getting the fun stuff. Let's go have fun. And now it's kind of flipped where she's hungry for God. She's the one pushing her brothers. You need to come to church. You should be coming with me. Let's go and let's have fun. And she's helping them to pray even at home. Now her world is very confusing. She comes from a broken home, which we stopped and we thought, how many broken homes do we pick up? I think we counted 2 at most outside of the normal. Who we pick up, 2 families that still have mom and dad present. That's sad. That's heartbreaking. That was my life growing up, so I can relate. So God can use your testimonies to reach your kids. And I'm thankful for that now looking back. Was it hurtful in the moment? Absolutely. But there's hope for these kids that, hey, your brokenness you're coming from can be used for the good later. Here we are trying to give them the truth of what God made, a perfect marriage. She gets to see that when she comes. We get to be that mirror image of what God really intended. We are sticklers here. We never used to be for a man as a husband-wife team to go out together. Because that's something we deal with here that needed to be broken. There's tons of moms present. Dads are missing. We need men to step up to the plate and be that for these kids. It's not just a women's ministry. We need guys. It's okay. We're living in a world where, it can be a little weird sometimes for guys to be in the mix. Use wisdom. But when we go out, we're together. 9 times out of 10, we are together when we're doing follow-up. We're together when we're picking up on the bus. We're together even in our room for teaching. Is that always ideal? No. But we try really, really hard. So For her, we have to be in communication. What house are you going to be at? With Dad, you're going to be here. I know that. But with Mom's house, she could be Grandma's, Grandpa's, or Mom's. She's very good at communicating, thankfully, but we have to be on top of that. How do we know these things? Anyone have an idea? How do you get to know your kids? Talk to them in person. How do you know that, Kenzie? Because we do it. We go out. Every Saturday, we're going out. Could it be really easy to pick up a phone and say, hey, are you coming to church today? Send a text. Are you coming to church today? Yeah. All of our parents are very good communicators now that we've built a relationship. I could easily send a text. Are you coming? Yep, coming. Perfect. No. Where's that communication at? When we go to their doorstep and we knock and we spend hours sometimes, we think, oh, we're going to be here 5 minutes. And it turns out to an hour sitting on their porch because they got life happening. That's how you get to know the ins and outs of these kids' world, is to sit on their steps outside of just Sunday. You're not just a Sunday school teacher on Sunday. You are a teacher Monday through Sunday. When that kid's having a bad day, they should be able to know, hey, I can call my Sunday school teacher and they're there. Why? Because we're building relationships with them. We have another child. He came to us from Texas. He was 6 years old, they said, and we're looking at him, and he's like this high. We're like, there's no way this kid is 6 years old. We kept asking Mom, we're asking everybody we could, and there is a language barrier. Do any of you deal with language barriers at church? No. This was our first experience, and we were terrified because it's out of our comfort zone. Raise your hand if you like comfort. I do. I don't like being pushed out of my comfort zone at all. It's very easy to stay in your comfort. But when God is saying, hey, there's a family that needs Jesus, and yeah, there's a language barrier. I don't know any Spanish. What do you know, Brother Eric?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all we know.
But I can say it.
And what is the universal language? Anyone know? That you hear all the time. What's the universal language between everybody that they are going to understand whether you speak anything or not? Besides you. Take a guess. Your body language. Your smile. If you walk up to someone like this, you're probably not going to tear down any walls. But if you're smiling at someone, even in the grocery store, it's really fun just to play the game of, hey, they look really grumpy. I'm going to smile just to see if I can get them to break. And most of the time they will, because it tears down the wall. And that is what we did with this family. We went every Saturday not knowing how to speak any Spanish. We showed up with candy. We showed up with fun things. We're like, here you go. And that broke down walls. Little things sometimes. Going to their birthday parties, going to their events where you are the oddball out. That's uncomfortable. We were doing that scared, shaking. What are they going to think of me? What are they going to say? How do I communicate this to them? And eventually, the trust was built up where we could take that boy to church. We could take them. We had them for like 3 years, I think. And then unexpected happened. Sorry, go back. I'm like, so Grandpa, I think it was Grandpa in Mexico, had passed away. They had to take the trip back home. And they knew they could not come back. It wasn't like hey, you got a month's notice to get acclimated to saying goodbye to your kid. It was, hey, this is your last Sunday coming to church. That's heartbreaking. When you're pouring into these kids and you're building relationships with them, that hurts. And it kind of threw me back where I was sobbing. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this, God. Why are you giving us these kids just to yank them away? I kind of was angry. And we had a good conversation, me and God. But when we came down to that conversation, it was you know what? You have these kids for a moment. You never know when that last moment you're going to be with this kid is. So you're going to give it your all. You're going to listen to them. You're going to love them while you have them. And hopefully when they go wherever they're going, everything you've poured into them is going to affect their family, affect those around them. And we got blessed. Surprisingly, as fast as we had to say goodbye, a few years later, they surprisingly showed back up at church. And I was crying my eyes out, like, that's awesome. You're back home. And his words at the altar as he's crying and sobbing, is how much he missed the church, how much he missed being here, and how good it felt to be home. So, third one, we have neighboring boys. We go out every Saturday, so we are visiting, knocking, and we are out in our superhero costumes this time, looking pretty crazy and feeling pretty stupid, because this is probably one of our first costumes that we really, our very first costume that we threw on. Eric was one of the ones probably to dress up some, and that was occasionally. None of us ever did. I'm like, that is just not me. Not happening. And so then we started doing, I'm like, this is actually pretty fun. This is cool. And what better way to get attention when you're out and about and going in gas stations and everywhere else in your costume, driving down the road and you have people wave at you? What a good conversation starter. I don't know how many flyers we've been able to hand out and say, oh yeah, this is for our Sunday school. Here you go. Like, come with us. So dressing up can be a door opener. Use it to your advantage and step out and not be scared to dress up. But these kids saw us in our van and like, what are you doing? That's so cool. I want to be a part of this. And so we were like, cool. We got 2 new kids going to be coming. That's going to be so cool. But it got crushed because like, no, we already go to church. Mom's already got a church. She takes us. So that feels like a slammed door. But because we're already going out on Saturday to a neighbor's house, they're playing all the time together. We were able to build a relationship with them, thinking it's that wasted time, when it's really not. You never know what time you're investing in kids. Did I pick them up once to come to church? No. Probably, how long was it? It felt like forever. And then one day it was like, I felt like that was closer. Mom's like, oh yeah, you just take them. Go ahead, take them to church with you because I have to work now on Sundays. I can't take them anymore. Go ahead. And I was like, yes! Finally, after a whole year, we get to take them to church with us. Now Mom's in a Bible study with me. We're able to speak life into her. And they trust me enough with their kids that we were in their house probably just a couple weeks ago. We laughed. He was teasing his mom so bad that he was going to do something to her. And I didn't like it. It was like almost disrespectful. And he comes running through and has the mom reaction in me. I whacked him. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, ooh. He's like, you just smacked me. I'm like, I did just smack you. You're not going to do that, though. And so it was kind of like that awe moment. And Mom just laughed. She's like, yeah, you can hit him harder next time. He needed that. So there's that building up. Why could I do that and get away with it? Because if I just hit the new kid that walks in the door, you think they're coming back to Sunday school? No. But why do you think I was able to do that? And it definitely wasn't hard, for the record. It was a tap. That mama tap of, hey, get with it. Why was I able to do that? Connection. They let me into their world, let me into their life, and I was able to be mom for a moment of, you're not going to do that to your mama. We're not going to allow that. So connections, building relationships. Another one is a broken home. This is probably my number one child that I will never, ever, 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 ever forget. It's been forever. They are no longer with us. It's very heartbreaking for me not to see them. But they allowed me to grow. This is probably one of our first kids that we really let into our world, and we really got to enter into their home and see just how bad it can be in someone's house. When you are on the outside just talking, everything can appear okay, put together. But the moment you step into their home and you stay for a while, you get to hear language that not always is uplifting and encouraging. I've had to stand and hear her call her kids stupid, worthless, never going to amount to anything, always in trouble. What does that do to a child? It can break them. What else? What do they start thinking? Because that mind, we've heard it, is very powerful, right? What do you think else? What are they going to think about that? Are they going to believe it? Yeah. Eventually, you hear that enough, you start to believe it, and those kids believed it. That's all I would hear from, I'm just stupid, that's why. I can't do that. So what is our job as Sunday school teachers? Uplift them. You have to try to combat what they're hearing at home, Monday through Sunday. What time you get with them, you have to try to combat that and say, no, you are lovable. You are going to amount to something. God has a plan for you. You are nothing. You are not stupid. was hard for me. We would pick them up to go on follow-up with us, just to make sure they could have an outlet to escape their mess. Any extra time we could, we would steal them. Mom would push them out the door and we would take them, because that was time we could speak into these kids and give them a moment to breathe. So much so when we'd have to drop them off, the one older one would hold me and give me the longest hug, and I'd have to peel him off me and tell him, it's time, you have to go back inside. And from the short distance, he would turn, I just have one more story. Like 20 minutes of getting him out of the car back into the house, and how heartbreaking that would be for me as mama figure of trying to let him know he is loved, he is important, to let him know you have to go back into that mess. But the church is here and we love you. So hopefully that can hold them over to get them through. All right, our last one we're going to dive into. This one is taking an impossible situation, because God is really, really good at taking the impossible and making it possible. She is proof of this. She is a girl that probably when we started junior youth, it's Kids Jam now, for 7 to 11, pretty much at that time it was, hey, if you want to come, you're just going to come. Until we realized, you know what, you can't just have every age group sometimes in the mix. It can be really crazy. So we like to call Eric, he was kind of probably the creeper that went over to the fence and scared her, because if you think about it, he went over to a fence as she's walking by and was like, hey, you want to come play with us? It's probably not the best approach, but so thankful that God can take our impurity of a mess and refine it to be for his good, because now we have her out of that moment of uncomfortable going up to a little girl, hey, come and play and have some fun. And she did every Friday and every Sunday, very, very faithful. I even thought, every time we drove up to the church, we'd find her sitting on the porch steps. Why? Church wasn't going on. No one was even here. But that was her safety. That was her peace, that she knew that this is a refuge she could walk to, because she lived in walking distance. She could walk here, sit, and find peace. At 16, her grandpa, which was her steady home life, fell apart. He passed away. So what do? She didn't know. 16, she had to grow up and be an adult. And thankfully, a church member let her come in. But she had to learn how to be an adult at 16. That's scary. But thankfully, she's used the piano, praise team, and our Sunday school team. What a valuable asset we have. That she's a living testimony. You can make it. You can make it out of the mess of a drug home, alcoholics home, all of that. You can make it out. So don't be afraid or scared to do things that you're not comfortable with in reaching these kids. Step out of your comfort zone. Maybe that's dressing up. Maybe that's going out on your buses and visiting with your families. It's not just for the kids. These kids aren't going to just be kids forever. They're going to grow up. So something I missed, don't be afraid to use these kids. Give them jobs. Give them tasks at your church. I feel like sometimes we limit them to, they're just kids. What can they do? Well, we had a couple of them that were the designated door holders. Every Sunday, that was their job. How silly that sounds to us. The line leaders, to taking the trash out, sweeping the floors. They were faithful to that. That gives them purpose. Something to connect them. If we don't stay connected, what happens? Can fall apart. If everything we've heard preached for the 2 sessions so far, it's telling us that there's a real fight going on in the spirit realm. The world is fighting for our babies. What are we doing to combat that? We need to give them something to look forward to, something to connect to, something that this is mine. I have to be at church. One of the girls, we've kind of made her, she texts me, even though I get her faithfully every Sunday. She makes sure, you're going to pick me up first. What time are you picking me up? Same time. And I give her all that because she wants to help on the bus so badly. Okay. So we pick her up. She'll run up to the houses. We have races to go pick our kids up. Our neighboring kids, they race up. Who's going to get the kids on the bus first? So they have that job and something to look forward to.
All right, y'all.
I'm going to warn you, I cry. I cried over there a lot. It's kind of a joke around here. That's what I do. But I'm going to cry now. I'm a bus kid. So I know it works. You can't tell me that a kid in a broken home can't be used by God. I didn't have a dad growing up. I never met him. He was a part of my life for about 5 minutes. Conception. That's it. I didn't know him after that. My mom was completely confused about who he was. That's how small he was in my life. Sorry. But I had a brother Dag in the church who would come over and he would just give me a quarter. Here you go. Put that in the offering. Oh, okay. He taught me how to give. It's one of those things that 30 years later, I still remember. I had a brother Jones in the church. I could ask him some stupid questions because I was this big and I had a lot of stupid questions. He always had an answer. I don't know if they were all biblically sound, but he always gave me an answer. And then I had a brother Manders who took me under his wing and he treated me as a son. Sorry. Without those men in my life, I would not be here. I didn't have a praying mama. But I had a sister Edwards. She prayed for me. I had a sister Lightcap. And she prayed for me. I had a sister Schroeder. And she prayed for me. Even when I was stupid and I left the church, they still prayed for me. So even when your babies leave, even when your Sunday school kids disappear, like our kid from Texas, keep praying. They might come back. Right, Alicia? You don't know. But let me tell you, those bus kids, those kids like me, those kids like these that she just talked about, we're out there. And we need you to find us. Show us the church. Show us what a man of God is. Show us what a woman of God is. Because we need your example. We're not going to make it if you don't reach us. And if you don't reach us, who's going to? He said it last night. He said it this morning. The world's going to reach them. Right. The world's reaching. The world's trying. 1 minute at a time, 30 minutes at a time on a reel. They're reaching. We only get, our Sunday school is about 60 minutes. We get 60 minutes a Sunday. That's why I spend 60 minutes on his doorstep on a Saturday. That's why we're calling or texting. That's why we're doing whatever we can throughout the week. If we get any opportunity to hang out with our kids, is it an inconvenience sometimes to our life? Yes. But is it, I would rather be inconvenienced here on earth than get to heaven. And God said, man, if you just spent 5 more minutes, but you missed an opportunity. I don't want to miss an opportunity. I left all my notes. I still left the church when I was 17 because I was an idiot. But that entire time I was in the world, I knew I was an idiot. I knew I was missing something. And I longed for the church. But I had too much pride to go back. So I moved from Iowa to Indiana, 367 miles. I made it through half of a service. I made it one day without going to church when I moved to Indiana. And I was in the back of the church, wearing big old baggy Jinko jeans with a skull on the front, jumping and shouting, praising God. So Sunday school works. Bus ministry works. Whatever it is you're doing in Sunday school, if you're doing breakfast, it works. That's an opportunity you have to pour into those lives. So don't take those minutes for granted. Even if you're walking the kids, we have some people that basically their job is just to, hey, make sure the kids when they go, they can get to the bathroom without getting lost. Okay. That's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever it is, they get to spend with those kids. Those 30 seconds, they matter. Brother Dag just gave me a quarter. I never had a real conversation with him beyond that. He gave me a quarter on Sundays, and I remember it. That was it. So, I want you to ask yourself, why aren't you reaching more kids? What is preventing you from doing more in your Sunday school? What's preventing you from doing more on your bus route? What's preventing you from doing anything more? And I know us, we always are going, what more can we do? And sometimes to our own detriment, where I don't sleep and don't get stuff done because I'm doing too many things. Right now, I'm doing too many things. But I don't want to miss an opportunity. I don't worry about it. Spark Magazine started as just an opportunity. And I'll get to it later, I guess. But someone said, hey, do you think you can help with this? And I was like, absolutely. And we're getting it done because we want to reach kids. We want to reach apostolic kids, because even the kids on your pew who might have a mom and a dad in church, they're still struggling. I've seen too many apostolics walk away, and not all of them come back. Because like I said last night, they get bitter. But that's still a soul. So reach them. Teach them. So today I want us to do a little activity. Maybe you've seen this object lesson before, but I'm calling it the Great Excuse Dump. Some of these excuses are real. Some of them are valid. But maybe you can say, well, I can't do more in Sunday school, or I can't do this because I don't have a team, or our space is too small, or our kids don't respond, or our town is too poor, or I don't have enough talent, money, or skill. So I want everyone who can. I've got some markers. Isaac, you want to help me out? And I've got some foam here. I'll start with the first one. And just pass them out to anybody. Anybody, everybody. Think of an excuse you might have for not doing something in the kingdom. For not doing more in your Sunday school, or not being involved, or not doing whatever. Whatever your excuse is. However big you want. I wrote this, not smart enough. That's still how I feel most days. Or I wrote short in the back because I cried too much. Okay? I knew this would be hard for me. Now, if you want to say it out loud, you're more than welcome. But I want every one of you to take your excuses, and we're going to drop them in here. I'm not smart enough. I'm going to watch my excuse disappear. Because when it comes to the kingdom of God, it's not about what I can't do or I'm not able to do. It's what God can do, and He can do it through me, and He can do it through you. So, if you have your excuse written down, you want to bring it up here, I want you to drop it in here. We're going to get rid of that excuse today. We'll be really fast. Y'all ready for some rapid fire stuff? All right. I had the question we came up with, are you a horse or are you a donkey? Because a donkey is stubborn. Anybody stubborn? I'm stubborn. I'm really stubborn. Again, I'm an idiot. Okay? Yes. All right. But a donkey is stubborn. But a horse, so a donkey needs poking and prodding to get moving. But a horse just needs guided. So my question to you is, can you be a horse that runs free? Can you be a horse, or are you a horse that runs wild? Or are you a horse that needs guided by your pastor's vision? Can you be a horse that runs with the vision? Your pastor's already made it plain. He's put it up on tables. He's given it to you. Run with it. Be guided by that vision. Our pastor has a saying, we talked about it last night a little bit. Chickens don't fly. Eagles do. Don't be a chicken. All right? You've got the Holy Ghost. You've got the same Holy Ghost He does. You want to start something new in your Sunday school? Do it. My guess is you probably don't have to ask Pastor, hey, can I teach this? Can I do this object lesson? This guy had foam and he put it into a weird cup and it did some cool stuff. Can I do that? You don't have to ask him. He's going to be excited you did it. All right? I started a podcast. I had my first 3 episodes recorded and ready to rock. I told my pastor about it 2 hours before it went live. That's only because we happened to be here for a watch night service on the first. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. But normally, In the past, I would have been afraid to do that, and I would have had to be like, do you think it's okay if I start a podcast? Is it okay if I do this or do that? He was loving it because I was taking the vision and I was running with it. I wasn't a donkey who had to be poked and prodded. I was a horse that just needed to be guided.
My thing is something I always think about is I would rather get my leash pulled back and him have to say, that's probably a little too crazy, a little over the top. Let's tone that back a little. Then him have to constantly push me, do more, keep going. So that's my thinking.
But something I was talking to Pastor about last night is a donkey, if they're trained and they allow themselves to be trained, they are more sure-footed, they are stronger, and they are used for more things. So if you're a donkey who's willing to be trained, you can go much farther than a horse who just needs to be guided. So my question again is, how bad do you want it? You gave up your excuses. Now will you fight for your field? Ahab went to Naboth. And he said, hey, I want to buy your field. Naboth said no. And Naboth said, well, I want your field. Naboth said, no, I'm not selling your field. It means too much to me. Our kids in your city, our kids in my city, they mean too much to me. I'm not selling them. I'm not letting them go. You're going to have to kill me. And that's what Jezebel did. She killed him. But he went down fighting for his field. He went down fighting for his kids. So what I want you to do, we do it every Sunday. We do it after every super church. We self-evaluate. And there have been times, it's called Self-Deception and Self-Perception. It's a fantastic book. I've never read it. I plan to. It's on my reading list this year. But you can think you killed it with an object lesson. You can think that Sunday school was awesome. Those kids did fantastic. We loved it. It was a great day. And then my wonderful wife would be like, actually, that object lesson failed miserably. The kids were bored the entire time you were teaching. We need to do something better next time. Be open. Be vulnerable with yourself. Be vulnerable with your team. Be vulnerable with people in your class.
You can say things nicely without being mean.
Right.
You can say the same thing without being attacking.
Right. But evaluate yourself. What are you doing? What do you want to do? What can you do? How do I get there? But if you don't ask yourself, if you don't evaluate, you won't go anywhere. You'll be that donkey. You'll just be content where you're at. You'll just hang out. But those kids out there are way too important. Again, someone's got to reach them. Might as well be you. I'm not going to get to probably the notes about doing it scared that I wanted to get to. But in dreaming big and doing things outside your comfort zone. But I'll give you the quick testimonial version. This magazine, I'm not sure if anyone's heard of it, but Spark Magazine. It's an apostolic magazine for kids. My daughter's been getting the Adventures in Odyssey magazine for months, a year, a couple of years now. And it's a great magazine, but it doesn't have truth. It doesn't teach oneness. It definitely teaches Trinity. Do I want my kids having that influence? Maybe it's okay, but I want them to have solid apostolic oneness. So someone on a kids chat said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was an apostolic magazine? And the chat blew up. 200 plus people were like, there's all these ideas. 58 days later, we ordered Spark Magazine. It was a small group of like 4 or 5 people. I happened to be on the team, full disclosure. But we said, you know what? We want an apostolic magazine. So we said, why do we speak in tongues? The kids should know. Why does our hair matter? That's on this page. So we made articles for the kids to read. And this is coming out every 3 months. Because we want our apostolic boys and our apostolic girls to know, hey, you're not alone. There's some cool stuff for you. And it's written in a way that kids can understand it. It's written in a way with games. It's got object lessons they can do at home. We're currently working on a Bible study that teaches them the Bible study in a fun kid way. And at the back, there's a Bible study they can teach to their friends in school. Those are big ideas and big dreams that someone has to do if you want them to happen. This, again, didn't exist. It was just an idea. It was literally just a spark of an idea. And someone said, yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. The next day we had a meeting and we lined out. We got other people who were way smarter than we were to join our team and say, hey, how can we make this happen? But it started with a dream. It started with someone saying, all right, if it's a need and I can fulfill that need, even if I have no idea what I'm doing, because I've never made a magazine, ever. We set a date we were going to ship it. We set a date when it was going to be delivered, not knowing how to even order a magazine to get it delivered. We had no idea. But I found YouTube and I found Google and brother and sister Google and brother and sister YouTube. They were fantastic. All right? But if you want something, you fight for it. I wanted this to exist. So we fought for it to happen. So what is your dream? What do you want to exist? What's not out there that should be? Because it can happen. It can exist. It can be in your church. It can be something small. Like Kids Jam didn't exist until we said, hey, there's a need for kids that aren't 12 yet to hang out together and do something. So we said, all right, ages 7 to 11, we're doing it Friday nights. Because we wanted it to exist. Has it been a fight sometimes? Absolutely. We've had Kids Jam with 2 kids. We've had Kids Jam with 20 kids. And the next week, back down to 4 kids. But that's time we get to spend with them, time we get to invest in them, time we get to work with them. So I've got some handouts for you. It's a Sunday school challenge list. I got some random big ideas, some random medium-sized ideas, and some small but powerful ideas for you to take home with you. And then there's lines for you to write down your own ideas. What are your dreams? What are things you want to do? And on the back, there's a thoughtful discussion for yourself. What is my biggest excuse? How am I going to overcome it? What's one change I can make right now? And do this today. Statistically, if you don't do this today, or if you don't do this tomorrow, you won't do it. What's my big Sunday school dream? What steps can I take to make that dream a reality? These will be up here. Or Brother Isaac, actually, why don't you pass those out, brother? But I believe in you. I hope you believe in yourself. Good news is, even if you don't, God still does. He loves you. He's crazy about you. And anyone else you know the rest of it? He has a plan for your life. Love y'all. I'm over time. It's 12:06. I assume it's time for lunch, probably.
2 things. I know I'm throwing it in.
Oh, Sister Renee.
Dream big. Go over the top in your Sunday school. Anything that the world is offering, offer it. Go big. There's no reason we have to skimp out just because we're children of God. Make your Sunday school rooms, everything exciting. We are up against technology, games. We fight for these kids to even be entertained. So you got your job cut out for you. It's a hard one, but it's well worth your time and effort to see it happen. And don't forget that we are the mama to these babies.
Amen.
He preached it last night too. We are the mama of the church. Be their mom. Yes.
I'm so sorry to be that kid.
You're good.
That's okay.
I do have a question. How do you go about handling then, like, the parents who could care less, if that makes sense? Like, they don't want to meet you. Like, you'll be like, hey, let's, walk to you and things like that. Parents are never home. The parents don't want to meet you. How do you go about, like, kind of pushing that, I guess?
So are they open to you taking their kids?
Yeah.
We have one of those. I've yet to meet.
Like, specific kids will bring cousins and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they'll give us that, like, addresses. And, like, we'll text the parents. The parents are like, yeah, that's fine. But, like, they're not interested in, like, the face-to-face meetings or, like, they're working or...
Yeah.
And even on a phone call with a kid, the parent was like, cursing. I don't care what you do. Just make sure they feed you and have you home before 9. So how do you go about, like, if the parents are like, absolutely, like, yeah, we're good. Like, they're not interested in meeting us. They're fine with us taking the kids, but not...
Our thing, I think you've got that verbal yes,
Yeah.
take them. I mean, it's in writing.
Absolutely.
So take them.
Okay.
Do with it. They've given you permission to be in their world, whether they want it or not. They've said, okay, I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to infiltrate in their world as much as I can. I have yet to meet the first girl that I talked about. I have yet to meet all of them in their household.
All 3 months?
All the moms I've yet to meet and try to pinpoint. And we've had her for 3 years now. That's kind of crazy to think. No, we've had kids where I'm like, okay, you've got to at least show me where you're living so we can try to get the okay. It's a crazy world where parents sometimes don't care.
Yeah.
Just take my kids, get them out of my hair, be the babysitter. I'm okay with being a babysitter. You hear that all the time. I don't want to be a babysitter.
You let them think you're a babysitter. You're not babysitting. You're pouring
Right.
into their lives.
Right. I will gladly take that title and run with it.
Well,
Good
even
question, though.
the example that she gave of the neighboring, or I don't know what the neighboring boys, maybe I don't remember, but I know what family she's talking about. Initially, that mom, I mean, she was like, "Cool, you can have the boys, you can go, whatever," but she didn't talk to us much. But I kept going to her house.
It was like through the screen. It was like around the corner. Okay, yeah, cool, no problem.
Yeah, and you slowly, sometimes super slowly,
Like it feels
break down walls.
tedious.
We still have some parents, they don't want to talk to us, so they only want us to text them. Okay, I'll text you. But if I happen to see you while you're out in the public, if I happen to see you while you're outside
playing.
I'm like, hey, how are you? You doing okay? Hey.
We have yet to like get yelled at or blocked really from anyone messaging and stuff.
That is what went in the jar. Like getting yelled at, I feel like I'd be under a bed crying. Like I can't. Ugh.
But it's doing it scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting past that, because you know what? Even Jesus got yelled
Forgot to do
at.
any of that.
Christ, for doing what he was called to do. So if we're doing our part, then it's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah, do it scared. For anyone who doesn't have one of these, which probably is everyone, because I just bought them. I have these amazing chicken keychains. I thought they're fantastic to remind you to whatever you're doing, even if you're scared, do it anyway. They make little noises. But yeah, take one of these to remind you that regardless of what you're doing, if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know how to do the object lesson, do it anyway. If you don't know how to do that big dream, do it anyway. Do it scared. We started super. So we did super. I'm way over time. So we started Super Church, and it failed miserably. No one liked it. We didn't like it. The team didn't like it. It was trash. It really was. So we stopped doing it. Pastor came to us a couple years later, and he was like, "Hey, I think you guys should Super Church again." And I literally said no. And you don't tell your pastor no, you just don't. And I was no. He's like, "No, I really think you should do it." I said, "No, we're not doing it. We tried it. It failed. I'm not doing it again." He's like, "I'm telling you, I really think you should do Super Church again." And I was like, "All right." And I prayed about it, and God was like, "Cool, I want you to dress up as superheroes, and I want you to go to the YMCA and do promo shoots, like with the photos." And I was like, "They're not going to let us go into the YMCA with dressed up as costumes?" It's on here. There was a picture of it earlier. But we did. And we didn't ask. We walked in. True story. I walked in with a mask, with a big old dreadlock-looking wig on, and I was like, "Hey, do you care if we take some pictures? We're doing this Super Church thing, and we just want to, pretend we're out as superheroes. Would that be okay?" And they were laughing. They said, "Absolutely. There's actually a room. You guys can do it out here on the main floor." Everyone's like really working out, and we were just taking photos. And they were like, "Hey, there's a room upstairs too. There's a whole bunch of stuff up there, a whole bunch of stuff you guys can use. Just do whatever you want. It's fine." We're like, "Sweet." So we did. And that was our first Super Church, our first Super Church back to doing Super Church. And now we've been doing it for 5 or 6 years. Our team has grown. One of the themes we did was nights. And he runs the computer stuff for us. His name is Brother Stratton, this guy's dad. I said, "Hey, we're going to go into the candy store and we're going to get a gift card to give away at Super Church." He's like, "Okay." And I was like, "You're going to dress as the jester." He's like, "I'm going to what?" He said, well, it wasn't the jester. It was the town crier.
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, you're going to go in. You're literally going to walk in and be like, 'Hear ye, today I'm here to get a $5 gift card, blah, blah.'" And now he was like, "All that for $5? And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want me to do that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll be there as dressed as a knight. It'll be great." He's like, "Okay." So he walks, again, we didn't ask. We just showed up in the store. Hear ye. I would like to buy a $5 gift card from Farms on his school, whatever. And it was great. He loved it. They loved it. We got videos. Well, he did it and he was scared.
We did it.
He was
scared.
super scared.
Yeah.
But now he's a vital part of our Super Church team. And he still tries to hide a script everywhere. Because I don't like scripts at all. I like scripts as a guide, not during actual Super Church. But he still tries to hide a script everywhere. But he does it every Super Church. He's scared to do it. but he still gets up and does it. And there's been times he's flat preached when he's gone and he's done his little skit, or he's done his puppet, or he's done whatever else he was doing, and then he has like a moment to just do a quick monologue. And he has flat preached. And there was a time we should have done altar call in the first part of Super Church, and we didn't. I thought we should have. Pastor thought we should have, and we didn't. So afterwards, Pastor's like, listen, that was the time. You missed your moment. And he wasn't mad, but it was just self-evaluation.
And a growing moment.
I was like, so the schedule doesn't matter. And he was like, no, it really doesn't. I was like, but what if he's like, doesn't matter. That was your moment. We could have had 30 minutes of church. That was it. That could have been all of it. But that was the moment we should have had altar call. Because he just flat preached to those kids and everybody was weeping. But I was like, cool, we got a song to do. Don't. Throw out the schedule. Throw out the script. Do whatever. Follow the Holy Ghost. God is way smarter than we are.
True.
It's not on the script. It really is. But seriously, do it. Do it scared. Follow big dreams. Grab a keychain. Remind yourself. Put it on your book bag. Put it on your fridge. Do whatever you want. But God's got good plans. Again, He is smarter than we are. So just do whatever you want to do. Do it and do it scared.